get ready for a turnaround. Get ready for a shift. Get ready, even though you feel that you may have gone from failure to failure, from tragedy to tragedy, from bad news to bad news, from problems to problems, from failure to failure, from being bypassed to being bypassed. And you have all kinds of things that you're struggling with. And every application that you sent out for a job comes back. We are putting it on files. And every interview you go to, you don't seem to be making a breakthrough. And every job you try to get, it doesn't seem to work out. And you're wondering in the night, why all of these things happening to me? And you wake up every day and you see all the things that are around you, and all the lockdown and the curfew and the state of emergency and all the bad news and how many deaths and how many infections and all this closed down and that place closed down, and you are in your own world wondering, how am I going to survive? The moment of your breakthrough is declared and scheduled, and God has it coming. It's coming. It's on its way. So don't lose your mind. Just remain in faith. Don't lose your mind. Just remain in praise. Don't lose your mind. Just follow His word. Do what you know you have to do and wait on your moment, because you're moving from leftovers to abundance. Imagine Ruth when she's walking out in the field. It wasn't to pick up the leftovers anymore. It was to supervise the harvesters. It wasn't to pick up the leftovers anymore, but now to collect the leftovers to help somebody else who was in the position that she used to be in. That's how the transformation works. And the truth is, we don't know. We don't understand. Sometimes we read stories in the Bible and we forget to put ourselves in it. So we read them. They sound beautiful, but we forget to put ourselves in the story and understand that these Bible stories and exhortations and everything that is in there were not written as an author would write a novel, so you read and be entertained. They're written so that we could put ourselves in there. So sometimes you read, you cross out the person's name and you put your own name. So if you're going from problems to problems, you read about Joseph and you put yourself in there. Joseph had a similar experience to Naomi, and in a different kind of way. From one problem to the next, from one struggle to the next, from one battle to the next, from one betrayal to the next. First, they threw him in a pit, cover him up. Then I could see him breathing a sigh of relief when he came out of the pit. Say, finally, they took me out. Then they sold him as a slave. Then he moved in slavery. God was blessing him while he was a slave. And sometimes that's the next thing we have to put our names in. Even though you are going through a bad patch, doesn't mean that the blessings of God have lifted from your life. God, you're still blessed even though you're going through a bad patch. And sometimes you're in a situation that looks anything like being blessed, but you're still blessed. When God gives you a blessing, when He puts His hand upon your life, He doesn't take it back. Otherwise, I will say like we used to say in primary school, God will get a cattle boil. You remember we used to say that in school? If you give something, take it back, you get a cattle boil in your eye. So even though you're in a bad patch, you're still blessed. That's why when David said, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. In other words, in the valley of the shadow of death, I am blessed. That sounds kind of upside down, but you're blessed always. So as a slave, he was blessed. He was the wisest person as a slave. I could see him liking himself and say, I'm on my way out. Then suddenly, a woman set him up. He ended up in jail. From pit to slavery to jail. Which one is worse? You ever find yourself in a situation where if God tell you, pick one of them problems, you don't know which one to pick? If that was you and God said, pit, slavery, jail, choose one. You say, nah, God, you're being unfair. Which one you going to choose? And then while he was in jail, another jailer, they became friends, and another prisoner promised to help him when he gets out. He said, as soon as I get out, I'm going to Pharaoh and tell him how blessed you are so that he could let you out too. As soon as the man came out and enjoying his freedom, you forget all about Joseph. You ever reach out to people for help? They promise you that they will help. They say you could count on me, depend on me, and then when things nice for them, they forget all about you. But he was still blessed. And finally, after problem after problem, struggle after struggle, misfortune after misfortune, all kinds of things happening, betrayal and letdown, stab in the back. He arrived exactly at the place of his promise. Put yourself in the story and say, for today I'll be Ruth. Today I'll be Naomi. Today I'll be Joseph. Today I'll be like Jesus. He's my example. Today I will be like the poor man David spoke about when he said, this poor man cried and the Lord heard me. Today you could be David. Today you're somebody who God knows and sees and recognizes. Put yourself in the story and say, today is my day for a shift.
And I will wait until my change comes. Until my change comes.
Yes, it's coming.
Until my change comes. Yes, I will wait until my change comes.
It's coming, it's coming.
My change comes.
Close your eyes and see that, see yourself in that place of promise.
I will wait.
See yourself in that place of power. See yourself doing all the things that were only dreams